Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 22 career mode, and today we're here for round 4 of our MotoGP season at the Spanish Grand Prix. Now I do apologise, it's been quite a while since the last episode. We've been quite busy, I've been working on the 2023 mod, of course there's been the real life racing at the weekends which takes up most of my time there, and then of course there was the MotoGP 23 announcement that I had to cover as well, so apologies that it's been a little while, but we are back and I'm going to try and keep it consistent for this career mode series. But if you didn't see the last episode, I do recommend you go check that one out because it was an interesting race, a pretty rough race for us at the Circuit of the Americas. Pole position, if I do remember correctly, but the race didn't quite go to plan. The race, of course, was wet. We struggled quite a lot, ended up getting knocked off by Brad Binder, and then we just finished last because we lost so much time from the crash. So I do want to bounce back in this race. Hopefully we should be able to, because Jerez historically has been a very good track for me in the career mode. So without any further ado, we'll head into the weekend now. Hopefully it's dry, hopefully we're on the pace, and hopefully it's a good battle. So then, at the end of FP3, you can see Fabio Quartararo is fastest, Miguel Oliveira in second position, myself in third, Pecco Bagnaia in fourth, Jorge Martin 5th, and Marco Bezzecchi in 6th position. So I've got slightly tweaked rider performance once again. I wasn't expecting Quartararo to be up there, to be honest. I think that's just because his AI is good at Jerez, so he might be a little bit weaker at some of the races, but it is good to finally see him up there. I was somewhat surprised by Oliveira's pace as well, although I did expect him to be up there to some extent. But below those guys, you can see it's all Ducatis, 3rd down to 8th, so yeah, the Ducati's looking pretty good. Bastianini in 10th place as well. I'm really surprised to see Vinales and Zarco this far down the order though, to be honest, because you'd expect them to be quite good, but so sometimes you get the AI, they don't really react how you expect them to, they don't really perform where you expect them to be, but that is just this game sometimes. So we'll head into qualifying now. We should be straight through to qualifying 2 because I'm pretty sure this free practice session is by far quicker than all the other ones, so I think we should be straight through, so I'll see you there. So then, here we are in Q2, and you can see coming through Q1, then we've got Marc Marquez and Aleix Espargaro. So, no Maverick Vinales in this session. A bit of a surprise, because I did expect him to be pretty competitive at this circuit. But there you go, those are the two coming through Q1. But you could see, based on the FP3 session, how competitive the field is, how close it all is. That's partially what I have tried to do, is close the field up to make it a bit more realistic. So maybe that's why some of the AI are a little bit out of position, because if they're slightly off session, then potentially they could be a lot further down than they potentially should be. But for this session, I think medium, again, is probably a good choice. I did use 2 sets in practice, but that's fine, that's still... Actually, you know what, that's not fine, because that doesn't leave us enough for the race, does it? Might have to do my first run on maybe a used set of mediums, because they only did a couple of laps, so it's probably not too bad. Could always stick a new rear in if necessary, but I think maybe for this first run, we'll stick with the tyres I've already used, because I think they've only done a lap or 2 anyway. Then, if anything, I might come back to the pits and put on a set of softs, because I think the soft is probably a usable tyre, I'm not really sure. I didn't actually mean to do a flying lap there, I meant to do an out lap, but there you go, straight onto the track, getting ready to start our qualifying lap. I must say though, the bike felt really good in practice, kind of the opposite to what I've had the last couple of rounds, where it's felt a bit more all over the place. It felt really hooked up and really grippy, a bit more like it did in the Malaysia test, so I'm hoping that we should be pretty strong this weekend because of that. The bike does feel really good and quite balanced. So towards the line, what is this time going to be? 1 minute 37.5, that's not that great of an opener compared to what we're doing in free practice, so I do need to try and up the pace a bit there. This lap has been quite a bit better, but you can see we're 1.1 off pole, so we're going to need even more than that. As we go over the line, we actually don't even improve position, we just improve our time. So still 7th place here. I think I'm going to need a set of soft tyres to go any quicker. I think we're probably going to need a 35 for pole. In fact, Alex Marquez has done a 36 too, so yeah, I think you're going to need a 35 if you want pole position here. So yeah, the AI are looking rapid, to be fair. I like it, I like that they're fast. But I do worry for the race that they might be a bit overly aggressive, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So here we are then, we'll probably have 1 attempt at this. Let's throw everything at it. So here we are then, up towards the line. It was a pretty good lap, but I didn't improve by very much in the last sector. In fact, I lost a lot of time. That's P6, 2 tenths off pole. Well, basically 3 there. And I don't think I'm going to find any more than that because the soft tyre just did not have the grip that I thought it would. Didn't have the edge grip really. So actually out of the slower corners, the medium tyre was actually getting better drive. Like out the last corner I lost time because the medium was actually better. So then at the end of the session, Alex Marquez, our teammate, is actually on pole position. Aleix Espargaro is 2nd position and Marc Marquez is in 3rd. So a double Marquez front row, and both the people that came through Q1 got onto the front row. So for some reason it seemed to be an advantage. Usually that only applies to the wet weather, but seems to have worked here in the dry for them as well. Pecco Bagnaia is in 4th place, Miguel Oliveira in 5th, and myself in 6th position. So after the pace Fabio Quartararo showed in practice, I expected him to be fighting for pole position, but you can see he's absolutely nowhere. He's not even in the top 9. Where did he actually qualify? He qualified 12th place, so he's actually last in this session. That's kind of more whereabouts I expected him to be, so I was a bit surprised that he managed to top FP3, but I guess everyone has a fast lap every so often. Although again, I am surprised by the grid, but you can see how close it is. I'm not even 3/10 off pole, I'm down in 6th place, and literally less than a 10th behind the guy in front of me, less than a 10th in front of Bezzecchi behind, in fact less than a 100th behind in front of Bezzecchi. So it just shows you how close modern day MotoGP is. It just makes it so difficult to put a good lap together and get a good position. But we'll head into the race now then. Hopefully we can get a good start, try and take the lead early on. I think that's probably our best chance at trying to win, because I need to avoid the pack. I need to not get beaten up, because if I get stuck in the pack like I have in the last couple of races, you just go backwards, you just get overtaken by everybody. But if I could try and get a good start to the race, try and actually get over the leaders, not get caught up past people behind me, we probably should be okay. So we'll head into the race now then. I'll see you down on the grid. So then here we are down on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. It seems like medium tyres are going to be the best option for this race, and that's what we're going to go with as well, because last time I was hoping to have a good race and I tried a hard tyre. It didn't quite go to plan at the Termas Hondo circuit, and of course the last race was the wet, so it's a little bit of a caveat. But I'm not really sure how it's going to pan out, to be honest. Every time I've tried to predict a race lately, it's just not happened the way I expected it to. So I think I'm just going to sort of play it by ear, just see what happens. I'm just going to kind of try and get a good start, and then just sort of let the race come to me, rather than trying to predict anything that's going to happen. Like, I'm not going to predict tyre drop-off. I do expect that AI will probably be quite fast at the end of the race, because I do remember that's a bit of a trait at Jerez. They're quite good at the end of the race. So if possible, I want to try and get to the front and build out a lead. But without any further ado then, from 6th place on the grid, what can we do? Because we really need another win. I've not had one since the first round of the season, and my results are getting increasingly worse. So if I get a decent result here, I'll take it, but I really do want to try and get a win.
The riders are lined up on the Jerez grid. There doesn't seem to be any problems, and they're all ready to go. A few seconds now, and the lights will go out.
So then Alex on pole, Aleix second, Marc Marquez in 3rd position, ourselves in 6th here. Can we get the good start? The lights are on, waiting for them to go here at Jerez. The lights out and away we go. My initial launch off the line hasn't been that great. We've got a bit of power mode 3 as we go down towards the first corner. We can go for it up the inside into turn 1, trying to be a little bit careful on the inside. We've got it to 4th place. We've taken 2 positions there. Aleix Espargaro briefly led the race there. Marquez back in front, back up the inside now we go off Pecco Bagnaia. So we're up onto the podium positions already. That's exactly the kind of start we needed. Aleix looks a little bit vulnerable in front as well, because our teammate is already checking out at the front of the field. So it could be a Grassini 1-2 if we played this one correctly. So here we are then through the Cito Pons corner, trying to line Aleix Espargaro. I'm actually hitting him at the back through that corner there. Using a little bit of power 3 on the exit of Cito Pons. There we go. Up into 2nd position. It's a Grassini 1-2 here at the Spanish Grand Prix. And we're closing up to Alex Marquez. And you know what? We're going to go for the lead, because I kind of had to, because I closed up to him so much there. Alex back up the inside. But even still, it was a lot quicker through the corner than he was. So it's not too bad of a problem. Bit of 1-2 then here, but I want to try to reverse this order if possible, because the pace in the race seems pretty much here immediately. It is first lap, of course. The AI are usually a bit slower on lap 1, but the pace, it does seem the best that we've had since Portimao, and I need to try to make the most of it. Although this is my worst section coming up here, so Alex probably will pull away from me a bit. So here we are then, coming out of the last corner. Alex deploys the ride-out device. I was trying in qualifying. Again, it didn't seem to make much of a difference for me, but there we go, up the inside of Alex Marquez into the lead of the race at the start of lap 2. We've almost lost the front though through turn 1 there. We've ran a little bit wide. That's allowed Alex to get the run. We should sweep around the outside into turn 2. Yes, we do. So up into the lead. Still a Grassini 1-2, but it is now swapped around. So here we go then. We've got to try and check out what we can, because it seems like the AI a little bit slower, at least on these opening laps. So we need to try and make the most of that. And with our teammate being the rider behind, hopefully we've got a pretty friendly and compliant rider there. So at the end of the 2nd lap, Enea Bastianini, fastest lap of the race. We're half a second clear of our teammate at the moment, so we are stretching away a little bit, but not much. So coming towards the line then, I was slightly quicker than I was on the previous lap, but Alex was even quicker than me, and it seems like the whole pack of pursuers is quicker behind, because Bastianini takes that fastest lap away once again. So I'm being put under a bit of pressure here now. Alex is closing up, and we've made 2 mistakes this lap already there, as we ran a little bit wide through turn 1 and then sort of went on the curve into turn 2. So I'm feeling the pressure of my teammate. Just half race distance complete as well, so there's still plenty of time for it to get back in front of me. So then here we are, starting the penultimate lap of the race. And it seems like the pursuers are my saviours, because Marquez had closed quite a bit up to me, but he's just started to battle with Aleix Espargaro now, because Aleix caught him. And that's actually allowing me to get away a little bit more again. So go on, guys, keep fighting. So it seems like they're really forming a proper pack behind me, so it hasn't really played out how I wanted to. They've kind of settled down a bit. Bagnaia has got through Aleix, because I got a bit of a bad exit, and it checked them up a little bit. Coming on to the fast right-handers. It pretty much seems like I only have the last corner over them. That just allows me to pull a bit of a gap out of them, and that's probably the best overtaking opportunity. Same with down towards the Dani Pedrosa corner as well. I just see better through there. But we've ran a bit wide at turn 1. As we start this final lap of the race, this could get close. Here comes Alex on the inside through turn 4. Alex Marquez retakes the lead here of the Spanish Grand Prix on the final lap as we go through the Cito Pons corner. I'm a little bit wide here as well, but I'm just trying to get the sweeping exit. Bagnaia on the inside, a little bit of power 3. Can we get Alex down towards the Dani Pedrosa corner? It's probably the only place we're going to be able to overtake him before the end of the lap now. Here on the brakes into the Dani Pedrosa corner. Up the inside we go of Alex. After we retaken the lead, Alex is surely going to come back up the inside. He is. We're going to get the exit. Then we're going to go up the inside into the next left-hander. Surely we are. Oh, he turned it across me. That was brave from Alex. Really brave, because I had enough alongside to be given a bit of space there, to be fair. So Alex really not messing about here. Alex wants his first ever MotoGP victory here at the Spanish Grand Prix. His home race, I suppose, because there is no Aragon now on this year's calendar. I think he's got me, because I'm not going to be able to get him now down towards the final turn, because they're going to be so much faster through these closing right-handers. Down towards the final corner we go. Alex still has the lead. Can we do anything to get out this last corner better than Alex on the power as early as we can? A bit of power mode 3. Are we going to get him? No, I don't think we are. Alex Marquez is going to win here at Jerez. We're second place at Grassini 1-2. That's such a shame, because we led for so much of that race, and then to get mugged on the final lap by our own teammate as well. That's not a great feeling, but at least it's good to see our teammates competitive, because never in the MotoGP game is your teammate ever there to back you up in the Constructors' Championship or the Teams' Championship, whatever you want to call it. But for once, I actually have a competitive teammate, because he actually beat me on track fair and square in a good battle, so fair play to Alex Marquez. I did enjoy that one. I did think it might be a bit boring after I overtook him at the start of the second lap, but then they kept me honest, and then he mugged me right at the end. I knew he'd try it through one of those corners that I just couldn't get it turned through, especially once the tyre wear got a little bit worse. I couldn't turn it any more than I already was, and they had a pretty big advantage over me. So yeah, it kind of sucks to lose that race, but we've made some good points on the people who currently were our championship rivals. Jack Miller down in 10th position, Franco Morbidelli down in 13th. So overall, actually not too bad. Pretty decent race overall. So in the Riders' Championship now then, Jack Miller continues to lead, but we move back up to second position in the championship. Bagnaia moves up to third place. Only 4 points separated myself and Bagnaia. I think that's going to be the real championship fight this year, to be honest. I can see Miller definitely dropping off now that we get back to the European rounds. But he does still have a healthy lead of 12 points, so if he finishes fairly well in the next race, he might not lose the lead, but he probably will if myself and Bagnaia both score quite well. Our teammate Alex Marquez moves up to 5th place in the championship as well. Again, not that many points behind us, only 13 behind, so our teammate could actually be a potential threat for this championship. And if we look overall, it is just generally pretty close, because there's only 1 point further back to Espargaro and Bastianini. Where is Bezzecchi? Because obviously he had a pretty good race this time. He's down in 16th place in the championship. But with it being so early days, it could be anyone's championship. Like 50 points can be made up over the course of 20 races quite easily. So it's very early to call it, but I think it is going to be between some Ducati riders for the championship by the looks of it. Moving on to the Teams Championship now, though, with that good result, we actually retake the lead in the Teams Championship, so we were struggling a little bit in the last round, but we actually have moved back up into a decent position now, which is always nice. Ducati Lenovo move up to second place, Red Bull KTM moved down to third, Primo Pramac, who were previously leading, moved down to fourth place, and Monster Energy Yamaha moved down to fifth. And finally, onto the Constructors' Championship. Ducati still lead, only 5 off a perfect 100 points there. Only dropping 5 points over the first 4 rounds is very good for the Bologna Bullets. Second place then for KTM, 32 points behind. Third for Yamaha, fourth for Aprilia. Only 3 points between those two manufacturers, so definitely watch out for their little battle. And then Honda just a bit off the back in 5th place. But with the weekend done now then, we'll head back to the career hub and end off the episode. So then, a much better weekend for the reputation than the last couple. 9,200 reputation points, which takes us up to 254,600. As for the credits brigade, 29,280, which takes us up to 656,558. But here we are then, back in the career hub, and we may as well advance forward to the next race, which of course is the French Grand Prix at Le Mans. and we can actually put on a frame upgrade by the looks of it, but I will leave that till the next episode because when I exit I'll have to redo it anyway because it doesn't save it unless you actually advance forward, so I'll do it off camera and it'll just be done for the start of the next episode. So a pretty good race there at Jerez then. Alex Marquez is finally a race winner. He really does deserve it because he got that pole position legitimately, outfoxed me on the last lap as well, which was really good of him because he passed in a corner where it's very difficult to pass. Like, Jerez in general is pretty difficult to pass. I was pretty much holding him up the whole race. Like, he tried a couple of times to sort of have a look, but it's really difficult. I was just good enough in the right places. But with that mistake I made at the first corner and then sort of at the second corner as well on that final lap, that just allowed them to just close up enough to be able to make a pass into a bit of an unorthodox corner. Now, of course, in real life, you would never be able to make that pass because he was literally on the curb, so he would have just completely, he would have took us both out, basically. He would have done, it would be like a Bautista Simoncelli 250 crash at that corner, effectively. But it is the game, so you work with what the game gives you, and fair play, he won the race. It's great for the team though as well, because it does show that the package is really good, because we've now both won a race on it, so throughout this whole year, the bike should be nice and competitive. But moving forward, especially to Le Mans, I'm going to try to assert my authority, make sure I can try and get another victory at some point. Le Mans should be a good outing for us. I think we've got that one. If it's dry, I think we've got that one won, to be fair, because the AI are so poor on the brakes of that circuit. Even if I make some mistakes and they have some really good corner speed, I think it's not going to be enough. I think we should have the advantage. So if the race is dry, I think we could potentially strike back with a victory at the French Grand Prix. But I hope you guys did enjoy that race. Hopefully it wasn't too short, because a lot of it sort of was cat and mouse. I was sort of doing just the best lap times I could. Wasn't much to say because they weren't really actually pulling alongside me or anything. But hopefully the last lap was good and the last couple of laps were pretty good for you guys. So yeah, I hope you did enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.